Welcome back to another episode of The Quest for Self. I'm your host, Allie. Have you ever felt exhausted? And I don't mean tired from work or skipping sleep. I mean truly exhausted, and you can't quite pinpoint why. You're eating right, working out, sleeping well, but still something feels heavy. Well, what if that exhaustion isn't from your life, but from trying to fix everyone else's? That's exactly what this episode is about. Because this has been me lately, and I want to talk about it. For me, and for all of us who have ever felt emotionally drained, not because of what we're going through, but because of what we're carrying for other people. I've always been the person people come to with their problems. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe because I've been through a lot and have learned to navigate hard things. Maybe because I genuinely care. Maybe because I'm an empath. Maybe because I get it. Whatever it is, I've spent so much of my life being that safe space for others, listening, giving advice, helping, offering my heart when theirs is breaking. And honestly, I love being that person because I know what it feels like to go through hard things and not feel supported. So I want to show up for others the way I wished others would have shown up for me. But at some point, it started taking a toll because some people don't actually want help. Some people just want to unload. And when you're the one always catching their emotional baggage, you start drowning under the weight of what was never yours to carry. This episode is for the fixers, the people pleasers, the empaths, the ones who try to hold everyone together, even when they're falling apart inside. It's time to talk about boundaries, energy, and how sacred your peace really is. Here's the truth I've been slowly and painfully learning. Fixing people doesn't help them. It slowly breaks you. I've seen it firsthand. I have a friend who's been in a toxic relationship with someone who clearly doesn't respect her. And honestly, I don't even think he really likes her. And it kills me to see her lower herself, to accept crumbs, to defend someone who continuously hurts her. And every time we talk, I'm there. I listen. I remind her of her worth. I try to help her see what I see. But the more I try to fix her situation, the more I realize I can't. And worse, she starts pushing back because she's not ready. And maybe deep down, she doesn't want a solution. She just wants to be heard. And here I am, getting more and more emotionally invested in someone else's heartbreak, draining myself trying to save her from a pattern she's not willing to leave behind. And it's not just her. This happens with other people too. Friends, family, partners, where I find myself giving away more energy than I'm receiving, trying to solve things for people who never asked for that responsibility. And that's where I had to get really honest with myself. Am I trying to help or am I trying to control? Because sometimes fixing comes from a need to feel needed, from a desire to control the outcome, and from a distraction from not having to deal with our own problems. I've noticed this pattern in myself. When my life feels chaotic or uncertain, I throw myself into helping other people, obsessing over their issue, playing therapist, giving advice. Why? Because focusing on their mess is easier than facing my own. But that's not healthy. Because while I'm busy trying to fix someone else's life, mine starts falling apart in subtle and not so subtle ways. And the truth is, I don't have the capacity to carry someone else's healing. That's their journey. And most people, they don't want to be fixed. They just want to be seen. So I've started shifting my approach, offering space, not solutions, listening without absorbing. Because real love doesn't fix, real love sees. And helping becomes hurting when it costs you your peace. Like I said earlier, I've had friends in toxic situations, relationships that make you want to scream, "What are you doing?" I've had those moments where I literally lie awake at night worrying about someone else's choices. And then I realized it's not helping them, it's only hurting me. I had another friend who constantly spirals, always focusing on the negative, always in a low mood, always bringing this heavy, draining energy. And I kept trying to be the sunshine, trying to lift her. But when you spend too much time trying to lift others, and they don't even want to stand, you eventually fall with them. It's a hard truth, but an important one. You can't help people who don't want to help themselves. But why do we do this? Why do we keep showing up, giving, fixing, even when it drains us? To really shift this pattern, we have to understand where it comes from. So let's talk about why we even do this. A lot of it comes from childhood patterns. Maybe you were the strong one, the fixer, the mediator. Maybe love meant being useful or solving problems or being the one who holds it together. It can also come from being an empath, someone who feels so deeply that it becomes second nature to absorb others' emotions as your own. But that's where we confuse emotional connection with emotional responsibility. And that's dangerous because it leads to burnout, resentment, and emotional depletion. If you grew up equating love with responsibility, then of course you keep trying to hold everyone together. But what if real love isn't about carrying someone else's weight? What if it's about holding space for both of you to stand on your own? So, what can we actually do to stop the cycle? Here are a few things that I've started doing, and you can too. Number one, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is this mine to hold? If it's not, let it go. Number two, ask, don't assume. Try, do you want support or do you want advice? You'll be surprised how many people just want to vent, not be fixed. Number three, don't repeat yourself. Once you've offered support or a solution, leave it. If they circle back, listen, but don't feel the need to say it all over again. Because trust me, they heard you the first time. Number four, let people experience their own consequences. This one is so hard, but it's also freeing. Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is step back and let them find their way, even if it hurts to watch. Number 5, protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Your peace, your clarity, your joy, they matter, and no one has the right to drain them just because you're nice. Here's what I want to leave you with. You are not responsible for fixing what you didn't break. Boundaries aren't rejection, they're protection. Your energy isn't infinite, and it's not free. Stop pouring yourself into people who refuse to fill their own cup. I want you to pause and reflect. Ask yourself the following question. What or who have I been carrying that's no longer mine? And then give yourself permission to finally put it down. You don't have to be their solution. You don't have to be their savior. You're allowed to choose peace over pressure. You're allowed to choose yourself. And the beautiful thing is, every time you do, every boundary you honor, every time you release what's not yours to hold, you step closer to the most grounded, peaceful version of you. Because every boundary you set, every time you protect your energy, you come home to yourself. And every step you take from here leads you to the next, truest version of who you're meant to become. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Quest for Self. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share. It would mean the world. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media, The Quest for Self.